While navigating through this crazy experience called life, you will inevitably come across stuff that just go together. Combinations that just work. Things that complement each other so perfectly, you have to just wonder, why didn't I think of that? I'm talking about peanut butter and jam, salt and pepper, America, and a good old slice of apple pie. But nothing goes together quite like roads and rashes. I'm talking shingles, contact dermatitis, hives, scabies, psoriasis. But nothing goes together quite like high-speed racing and excessive and completely unnecessary violence. In a nutshell, road rash. Hey, it's Matcha coming at ya. Go ahead and grab yourself a nice hot cup of your favorite motor oil. I recommend Castrol 10W40 fully synthetic racing oil and enjoy the freshly brewed review of Road Rash 2. Released in 1992 for the Mega Drive, or Genesis here in the Great White North, Road Rash 2 is an arcade racer filled with motorcycles, chains, and driving headfirst into moving cars. Weapons like the aforementioned chains, along with clubs, fists, and even legs can be used to knock your opponents off their bikes. Watch me kick this guy into a car. That's great. That's really great. See, this is why I never leave home without my legs. You never know when someone might need a good old leg slap into oncoming traffic. Opponents can do the same. And if you do happen to get knocked off your motorcycle, you have to run all the way back to it before you can drive away. There are no magical responding bikes that appear underneath you in Road Rash, how you'd probably imagine the mechanics to be. Bikers can actually run you over while you're running back to your bike, knocking you down, making it take even longer for you to get back to your motorcycle. Your bike also has a health bar, meaning you can only be knocked off your bike a few times before it explodes. All of this just gives this arcade racer a bit more depth and punishes you for falling off your bike without being too frustrating. The goal is to come in first place for all 5 tracks. Upgrade your motorbike, rinse and repeat with increasingly challenging opponents. The tracks range from Alaska, Tennessee, Vermont, Hawaii, and Arizona. Have you noticed what all of these places have in common? Besides all being words I can't spell, they're all US states, so you won't be going to any other countries in this game. This isn't really a detractor, just something I thought I should mention, and a way for me to throw in a joke about my literacy. As I mentioned earlier, Road Rash 2 contains violence, both with and without legs. This is what differentiated itself from many other racing games at the time, and was an important mechanic for staying competitive, as the other racers will not be going easy on you. If you punch an opponent right when they're about to hit you with a weapon, you can actually, borrow it and give it back to their face. There will be cops showing up on the track. They can hit you with batons, and if you get knocked off your bike in their vicinity, you will be arrested, causing you to lose the race and have to pay a fine. The frame rate? Well, it's not good. I'm no expert on, well, much of anything other than mixing leaves into scalding hot water and then proceeding to shove said scalding hot water down my face hole, but it seems to be 15 frames per second, half of what us console gamers are used to playing. It doesn't make the game unplayable in any way, but it does make the game feel slower to control than it should. The music is pretty great and has some rockin' tracks that are bass heavy, which is where the Mega Drive excels. The soundtrack might not fit as well as the licensed soundtrack for the Road Rash ports to the CD-based systems released around this time, as their hard rock went hand in hand with Road Rash's attitude, but the blues rock here in Road Rash 2 is still very nice to listen to. There is a split screen mode included, which was something that wasn't in the original Road Rash. This allows you to play solely against player 2 in a grudge match, or play against player 2 and computer-controlled racers. There's also a returning take turns mode that allows you to take turns playing, which is good if you A, only have one controller, or B, have a small TV and don't want a two-player experience that will give you teeny tiny screen real estate per player, I don't see this being much of a problem in this day and age, but back on release, it was for some. Overall, Road Rash 2 holds up very well all these years later, and is still enjoyable as a solo and split screen experience. The low frame rate may be a bummer, but it's easy to look past with its fun gameplay that still feels fresh decades after release. Oh, and one more thing. I think I've learned something while you just finished watching this review. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I can see you on the other side of the screen. Anyway, the two things that go together better than anything else are Steep Tea Gaming and you, my wonderful viewers. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And thanks for watching.